And look, South Park is known for satire and for mocking people. No one is safe. This isn't the first time they've done an episode on the royal family, but this particular episode was quite scathing in the grains of truth that it held. And I'm not sure how the Sussexes are taking it. Obviously, it is a cartoon.
Just can't leave us alone, can you? Oh my God, he's so obsessed with us.
You've had it harder than literally any other person on the planet. Even Jesus nailed up to the cross didn't suffer as much as you. I just love that this is what the Lord willed me to do with my will. To make another podcast where celebrities can talk about how hard their lives are, not to help people. No.
Find yourself a man who will worship you, cherish you, and most importantly, love you for the insufferable narcissist that you are. I have full body chills right now.
But you're the same.
You're the same.
Like, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of these celebrities that start these things, they can't keep up. You know, like the Meghan Markles, they just can't keep faking it. It's too hard.
Meghan Markle, they've just learned the hardest of lessons, which is, if you start a brawl, do not be surprised if you end up getting punched twice as hard. In fact, South Park has just knocked them out.
There isn't a tear in sight. It's an actor's trick.
So why did you say yes to doing this show?
Because it's you. And to me, that means
Meghan thought her talk with Jami Kern-Lima would make her shine, but South Park turned it into a roast with pretzels, buzzwords, and fake pauses, making her look desperate and people keep watching cause that was just the start.
This woman looks to me like a malignant narcissist. This woman has zero self-awareness.
I love that your eyes are sparkling right now. You know, Meghan, how are you today? Which, by the way, I just have to say, yes.
enjoy them.
I forgot to have fun. You're right. You're right.
That 2-hour podcast that I just had to sit through with Jami Kern-Lima, who is also very cut off from the rest of the world.
South Park went harder on Meghan by turning her buzzwords like growth power and yet into a non-stop joke with cartoon Meghan and Jami tossing lines like confetti, showing how it felt more like branding than real talk, and by the middle every line ended with yet making her chat look like a fake self-help show, but that was not all.
Wow, I know. Yeah. Just have to prove, like you have the proof that you're proving that you can prove the proof. It's divine intervention that God brought you to this podcast today. Want some pretzels? I put them in a bag myself. These pretzels are divinely ordered pretzels.
Yet another thing we both have in common, being besties with Oprah. Speaking of my Fox of a Prince husband, H, he just adores the living shit out of me. I can tell.
South Park exposed Meghan by turning her humble brags into laugh tracks from her hard work line to motherhood superpower. They made it all scream notice me, then mocked her thousands of emails with cartoon Archie asking for a spam filter and Harry. Hitting unsubscribe, showing how her sharing felt staged, and what came next shocked everyone.
Our entrepreneurial spirits, our philanthropic efforts, our severe lack of self-awareness. Well, I'd also like to point out that I'm a mom, a wife, a friend, a biracial person of Africanese descent. I had Oprah on my show once. You did, and I was interviewed by Oprah.
If it's truly what we want, then we really can get away from it all. No more magazines and Netflix shows. We really can live a normal life. Yes, I'm sure you agree, darling. We can be the people we talked about being, with no more worries about how we look or the image we project to people. What matters is what we have on.
What do Americans really think of Harry and Meghan? We despise that.
South Park mocked Meghan's "I'm just like you" moment, showing her makeup free with a fake halo, while everyone gasped, proving her raw look. Felt staged like glam. They even had characters grab lights and makeup when cameras stopped making it clear. You can't schedule realness, and the harshest jab was still coming.
Do you think you'll be married forever?
yes.
I have a letter.
He's also a fox. If you haven't noticed, my husband's very, very handsome. But his heart is even more beautiful.
Something's up here. See that little shoulder shrug when she said yes?
Yes, yes.
Did you hear how high her voice was when she said yes?
Yes.
When we're stressed, our larynx closes up a little bit and our voice tone gets a little bit higher. That's why the pitch of the S is so high.
What we're doing here is as, if not more important than solving world hunger. Wow. I practiced really hard to come off as genuine. So did I. I think it's working. I do too.
South Park roasted Meghan's fashion activism with crazy eco outfits that looked loud. But empty showing clothes can't cover a week. Image and memes blew up proving her look at me activism fizzles, but the real bomb was still coming.
Welcome to Jamie Lima's show.
Her show is unlike any I've ever done.
A revelation. When you listen, it feels like a hug, but your brain and your spirit and your heart is like, wow.
When I look into Jamie's eyes, I feel like I am on some other cosmic level with her.
I could see the light around her. She's infused with light.
I don't care. Don't care.
What the hell?
What did he just say? He victimized me. It's because I'm an ethnic woman. He can't do that. I'll say, wait, you're ethnic? This is an outrage. There's this horrible spy who lives across the street from us, and we're gonna get him back by changing our brand.
Is this you? Sorority girl, actress, influencer, victim.
Yeah, that's totally me.
South Park mocked Meghan for clinging to royal titles. She said she dropped showing her stamping Royal Highness on random stuff, while Harry reminded her the palace changed the locks. Proving it is hard to preach reinvention while holding the crown, and that detail set up the big...
Zoom in here and it says, with the compliments of Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Sussex. That is a title that was stripped from her when she and Harry made their whole racism debacle and left the UK, left their royal duties, and moved to the US to bug all of us. She's using it in private with her friends. That's even weirder than if they were still trying to milk the titles in public. That is just like all the confirmation that I need that this woman is just obsessed with being a royal, that is all this was all about. That she's angry that she screwed the pooch by claiming racism and basically getting kicked out of the family. She just can't give up the HRH titles that quickly. Like, this is literally what she has always wanted.
South Park turned Meghan's favorite word yet into a huge running joke, showing cartoon her ending every line and even shopping lists with it while people ran for cover and the gag worked cause it. Showed how a word meant to inspire can get super annoying when repeated too much soon. TikTok was flooded with clips counting every yet like a game proving. You can't fake depth with a slogan, but the show still had more heat waiting.
Before I go to bed almost every night, I email them.
Wow.
They will end up at one point in their life, maybe when they're 16 or when they're 18, that I say, here's an email that I've been keeping for you.
Because that's really what you want when you're 18. 40,000 emails, Maureen, from your mother.
These emails are so that when my children are of age, they can come to me and say, oh my God, you loved us so much. It's me.
It's divinely ordered how many times we've said I and me. Why did you say yes to this show? And then you're like, do it. I was like, what? You're like, do it. I was like, what? You're like, do it. And then I was scared.
South Park really went all in on Meghan's podcast by stretching every single pause into something so painfully slow it became hilarious. They showed cartoon Jamie leaning in with teary eyes while the silence dragged on so long you could fold. Laundry make coffee and even watch birds fly south for the winter before another syrupy line finally came out, and instead of sounding wise, it just felt fake deep. The animators even threw in a metronome that stalled mid-beat with steam, rising from mugs and background characters looking half asleep, making it crystal clear that the so-called emotional pacing was less about meaning and more about forcing gravitas like a boring lecture dressed up as a lullaby. Fans online started laughing because they realized they had actually tuned out of the real interview halfway through, since it felt endless in South Park. Somehow captured that will this ever-end vibe in only 20 wild minutes with perfect timing and sharp comedy, and just when it felt like they had already hit every nerve, the show saved one last punch that came from the most unexpected place.
So why did you say yes to doing this show?
Because it's you. And to me, that means
there isn't a tear in sight. It's an actor's trick.
Don't make yourself cry. Oh, I can do that so well. Oh my God, it's crazy.
Yes, took them out of the box, put them in some other packets, which seems to be Meghan's idea of cooking.
South Park's parody didn't just roast Meghan's podcast, it set off a whole cultural earthquake that spread from memes online to boardrooms, and Hollywood people on TikTok were stitching clips, non-stop turning the hour jokes into stickers slapped on coffee cups, baby outfits, laptop covers, you name it, while Twitter lit up with threads asking how someone can keep talking. about authenticity after being dragged so hard by a cartoon even industry insiders whispered that Paramount quietly froze. A docuseries and a 24 trimmed the script to erase a royal. Cameo proving how fast satire can spill into real-life deals then. The morning shows picked it up with pundits arguing if Meghan's brand was spinning so fast it made people dizzy, or if the public was just tired of her endless curated confessions, and the more people laughed, the more obvious it became that her polished image was taking real hits, not just online burns, but deep bruises that could follow her long after the memes fade away.
We have never done this on the Jamie Lima show before, but we brought in our rocking chairs, we're in our comfy cozies, and with not a stitch of makeup on. Literally none. That's right. Except for primer, concealer, foundation, highlighter, contour, blush, mascara, and a little bit of eyeliner. Same, plus a ton of bronzer.
When you were saying, like, do you want to just do like cozies and no makeup? I like the idea of like, okay, great, let's let them see us.
Nobody talks like that. Nobody acts like that, because that's weird behavior that we're seeing from both of these people if we're supposed to be thinking under the impression that they're being authentic.
And just like that, even her favorite yet slogans started sounding like old echoes fading away, but the real question everyone kept asking was if one cartoon could flip her whole story for good or lock her forever into a parody, and the answer was waiting in the final blow.
Now, there is no doubt about it that Meghan Markle's viral video created a new negative wave of backlash against her that resulted in many other studios actually deciding to put any kind of affiliation with her either to a halt or firing her directly. That's exactly what happened with both Paramount and
South Park's 20-minute roast closed with a finishing blow hotter than any designer pretzel bag Meghan could ever market, and it carried a message that stuck with everyone watching that real authenticity only works when it comes from the heart, not when it is wrapped up and sold like a luxury product the show stitched together. Every cringy pause, every overused buzzword, every royal title slip, and every fake raw moment into one giant neon warning for anyone who tries to turn vulnerability into a press release. Hollywood insiders were left scrambling to quietly step back from her name, while diehard fans argued over damage control, but the bigger crowd, the everyday viewers, just sat there with popcorn screenshotting memes and laughing at how perfectly the cartoon nailed the problem, and underneath the humor was a sting that people could not shake. It felt like the line between being heartfelt and being a sales pitch had finally snapped for good, and South Park made sure. That break was loud, clear, and unforgettable, leaving everyone wondering if this was just a roast or the start of a permanent shift in how Meghan's story will be remembered.